So we're gonna do a prep on the mesial of tooth number 9. You've already looked at your x-ray and you've determined that there is decay on the mesial of tooth number 9. You've isolated it with rubber dam, and now we're gonna start the prep. So what I would recommend is a 330 burr. Here's a 330 burr, and I'm just gonna measure it for you. So it's 1 millimeter wide at the tip, and it's 2 millimeters long. So this is really a great way to start our initial preparation.
So the criteria for your class 3 composite preparation are that you don't have to break the facial wall contact in your prep. And if you do break it, it should be less than 1 millimeter beyond the contact area. Then the other criteria is that the incisal gingival dimensions should be less than 3 millimeters. And then the third criteria is that the gingival clearance is less than 1 millimeter. But you do want to break gingival contact here. You don't have to bevel, but if you do decide to bevel your enamel cavo surface, the bevels should not be wider than 1 millimeter. The other criteria is that you could have very limited amount of unsupported enamel as long as it is not necessary to preserve the facial aesthetics.
Criteria is the depth of the axial wall for maxillary central extends less than 1.5 millimeters from the DEJ.
All right, so we're gonna start prepping. So what I would recommend is you find the contact area and you go a little bit below there, and that's where you're gonna start your prep. So we're gonna start our prep right about 1.5 millimeters, I would say, is a good place to start. And when I look in here now, I can see the kind of dentin and maybe the beginnings of the decay in there. So I'm gonna keep prepping. So I'm just prepping it and just trying to make a nice, clean initial prep. So one thing you can use is a hatchet just to smooth out your preparation. With the carbide 330, you got to be a little bit careful because it can chip this plastic. But I find that if you go fast enough, it still works, but you just have to not be too hesitant. Okay, let's go through the initial dimensions. Okay, so I just want to show you what I've done so far. So my measurement going from incisal gingivally is about 2 millimeters. So you don't want to go more than 3 millimeters initially. And then kind of like going from the proximal to the middle is about 1 millimeter. And we're only about 0.5 millimeter past the DEJ. So we're still very conservative. We have not broken facial contact. So right now, I just want to make my box a little bit more like a box, like it's not smooth and clean. So I'm going to just go a little bit deeper and just make it more box shaped. And then I'm going to ask for my first modification. I'm gonna smooth it out with my enamel hatchet. And now I can see the decay, and I can see there's decay going more incisally and more kind of towards the center of the tooth. So the criteria are that you can go 1.5 millimeters past the DEJ before asking for a modification. So let's measure how far we are. So right now I'm only about 1 millimeter in. So I can go maybe up to here before I have to ask for my first modification. So I'm gonna extend my prep a little bit more. Okay, so now I've extended it more incisally and more towards the center of the tooth. I'm just gonna smooth it out, and now I can really feel the decay. Just wanna smooth out my edges. A lot of it is silent, annoying work. So for the modification request, you can ask for a range. So you can go like 0.5 to 1 millimeters, let's say. So we're gonna ask for 0.5 to 1 millimeters so we can clean out this decay right here that we can see. Okay, so I'm switching to number 2 round burr. And now I'm gonna just go into the decay area. So now I'm just kind of feeling this decay. It does have some tug back and there is some resistance. So I'm feeling, I can even like pick it off with my Explorer, if you can see. So I'm gonna keep going with my number 2 round burr on a slow speed. So what I'm doing is I'm not really extending the outline if I don't need to. I'm only going after the decayed areas. So I'm feeling, and I feel like it's going way more facial. So I'm just gonna go more facially. I still haven't hit my 0.5 to 1 millimeter extension that I have asked for, but once you hit that, you have to request a second extension. So all I'm doing is cleaning it, looking at it, cleaning it, looking at it. So I'm checking my tooth now. I'm still feeling a little softness, really like to the facial of this. So I'm gonna go a little bit more there. I wanna make sure it's all clean, no decay, nothing soft. You don't wanna give the examiners any question about whether you cleaned it or not. So take a look at this. Okay, so now I've pretty much reached the end of my first modification request. I'm still feeling decay going here like gingivally and also going more towards the pulp. So I'm gonna ask for my second modification request. Now we've been approved for our second modification request. Now we're gonna keep following this decay that's going deeper into the kind of like gingival floor of this tooth. I'm still gonna use my number 2 round burr on a slow speed. And just take your time, clean it, look at it, feel it. Don't rush, you have plenty of time. Feeling. So I'm just doing a little bit feeling, doing a little bit feeling, and I'm trying to avoid touching my external outline form at all, because you are allowed to have some undercuts as long as it's, you know, reasonable, which it still is. If I'm really deep into this, I may want to extend this a little bit, but I feel like I'm still okay. So I still feel some tug back right there on the gingival floor. I'm going to go a little bit more with my number 2 round burr. Okay, let's check this prep again. With these kind of fake decay, you gotta really poke at it to feel tug back, but you will feel it. As you practice, you'll get a better sense of it because it's not like real teeth at all. Quite a different sensation. So again, I'm still feeling a little bit of tug back on the gingival floor. So I'm gonna go a little bit more there and then check again. So I feel like I've finished cleaning out all the decay. Now I'm gonna look at my shape. Right here, I have quite a bit of undermined enamel, and I think that's not reasonable. So I'm gonna extend my outline just a little bit out here, just to remove this little lip of enamel that I feel like is not strong enough. So I think a little bit undermined is okay, but I have about almost like 2 millimeters right there. So that might be a little too much. So I'm gonna extend my outline form on the exterior outline form to remove this undermined enamel. Just switch hand pieces. I'm going to switch back to my high speed for this. And again, just smoothing it out and feeling, making sure I don't have any tug back or any soft areas. Smoothing out everything. Don't give the examiners any reason to doubt your prep. Make it smooth, make it nice, make your rubber dam nice. All of those things make a difference. Okay, so I'm checking my prep. I'm still feeling the softness here, and I'm also seeing this unsupported enamel here. So this one, I can pretty much just break with my hatchet because it's pretty thin already. So I can just break it. And now we're just gonna smooth it out. So this was a pretty large decay. I'm gonna look at it from the facial. So you see that I've kind of come through the facial, but not all the way. And you don't have to. And when you go to fill it, you don't have to give a bevel, but just so you can see how far facially I've come with this decay. So I'm really just right now, just smoothing, getting my outline form nice and clean, making sure I have no undermined enamel. Again, checking to make sure I have no tug back, no soft spots, that everything feels smooth and hard and clean. And that's it. Here we go. This is your first prep. We've asked for 2 or 3 modification requests, and we've broken a little bit of contact on the facial, but that's totally acceptable. At this point, I don't think we're close enough to the pulp to ask for a pulp cap, so we just had to do a couple of modification requests. And here's your first prep finished.